Mm. Okay. All right, we are ready to go. Excellent. All right. Okay, so we're set to be live streaming now, so it can be available for replays later. I welcome everyone. This is welcome to the book club, P4P book club, Prosperity for Posterity book club. And we are concluding our book today. Let me see if I can just show you. We're concluding and completing that book today, which is the psychology of money. The psychology of money. Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness by Morgan Housel. So that is the book we have been reading for a few weeks now, and we are concluding it today, starting from chapter 18. So taking on chapter 18 today, 18, 19, and 20. We've been dealing, we stopped at chapter 17 last week, and today we're going to conclude and just do some. I think chapter 19 is basically the summary of everything we have learned regarding this book that we have learned. And I know that one way or another, we have picked up some form of financial tips and financial lessons from this book. The one that resonated mostly with me is the fact that nobody's mad. No one is reckless. No one is mad when it comes to the way we think about money, right? A lot of things play a role in how we conclude on how we will spend our money, and especially, most importantly, how we will invest our money, right? A lot of things inform your risk appetite, right? And I think I've shared in one of the sessions that the risk appetite of myself and my husband is polar opposite. He is very highly, risk, the risk appetite is high, basically. The term I was looking for escaped me. Whereas I am super conservative when it comes to risk. And when he makes his risk, he goes on and does what he needed to do when it comes to taking risk in investment. When he wins big, right? Of course, we were like, okay, yes, he did it well. We congratulate him and all that. But when losses come, when you have to take lessons, from those investments, that's when we begin to roll the eyes like, oh, wow, why did you do it the way you did? Hey, Anna, welcome. Why did you do that? That was too risky. I told you it was risky and all that, right? And then here I am, with my being very conservative with risk, inching in, and then I get caught up in his success, and then I wanted to try, his risk level, and then I get myself burnt. So times that circle just keeps going. But this book made me realize that that's the level we are. That's a lot of things informed our risk appetite at the level of risk we can manage and we can take. And so I respect him more now when it comes to the way he ventures out in investing, and gradually coming towards the middle. I'm not in the middle yet with him, but I'm gradually coming towards the middle and understanding that whatever the outcome on both ends of the spectrum for us, we will accept, each other. Especially on my side, I will accept him for whatever the outcome may be, and possibly even help him, make the outcome more bearable and more something that is more acceptable and all of that. So instead of me closed to the investment opportunity that he's trying to do because I feel it's too risky, I'll come down and we'll look at it together. I'll, put in my 1 cent. This is what I think about it. Can we do it this way? Can we hedge? Can we hedge this risk this way? Can we hedge this risk this way? So that if whatever happens, we have to take a lesson, it will not be catastrophic. And I see that as being really, really working for us, and is more attentive to me now, because before, when I want to, put up my objection or put up my whatever, I wanted to let him know what I think about what he's proposing. He brings up his wall almost immediately. But now I see he's relaxed some more, because he's saying that, okay, I'm not necessarily coming to say don't, but rather to, let us look at it from all sides. And I've seen it pay off a big time, So that has been the biggest of the lessons that I've taken out of here. And that is, and that lesson, like I said at the beginning, is no one is crazy. We all, whatever investment we did, whatever thing we're using, we're spending our money on, that we have a logical, a reasoning behind it. So taking it from there, then knowing that no one is crazy, whatever we do with our money has a reason, valid reason behind it, we now begin to work on how to save more, how to hedge our risk to make sure that you allow compounding to work for you. Because if you put, if you don't hedge your risk, if you put all your investments, all your money in one basket, and you lose big on that, then you don't have capital left or money left for compounding to work on. So being able to diversify your investment allows you to hedge your risk, and thereby you stay longer in the compounding game when it comes to financial prosperity. So that is very, very, very key. So today, chapter 18, and I want you to bear with me, I will not be sharing all of the PDF for us to see on the screen. I see somebody reported my videos, and they flagged it for copyright. So I've been struck on that, and all the videos have been taken down. So I'm reaching out to them to let me know why, because I got the material on public domain. So I don't understand why they would do that. But just to be on the safe side, I'm not going to share the PDF for extended period of time. I might just bring it up to pick at it for emphasis on the points I'm going to be making, so that I can carry us all along. But basically, I'm not going to bring it up perpetually like I used to. So chapter 18 says, when you will believe anything, appealing fictions and why stories are more powerful than statistics. Right. And the picture is basically trying to paint for us here is, we tend to accept the narrative. We tend to agree with people, whatever the story that supports our expectation. He gave an analogy of an alien that just visited, the country or New York on a particular time of the year, and then came back 10 years later, visited the same place, and then compared the two, or 2 years later rather, and then compared the 2 times. Like, yes, everything is still good. However, things that has happened within the span of those 2 years had made, life really miserable for a lot of people. But looking at the overall, the way things have been, the lighting, everything, if you're just looking from outside, you would think everything is still all right? So that is that, and he concluded from that stories are by far the most powerful force in the economy. They are the fuel that can let the tangible parts of the economy work, or the brake that holds our capabilities back. Now, the story, the narrative we had pre-2008, before, that economy crash that we had in 2008, the housing crisis we had in 2008. Before then, the story, the narrative we had at that time, it influenced the way we invested. It influenced the way we invested in real estate. It influenced the way people, saves. It's influenced the way people spend their money and what they're spending on and all of those things, right? But post 2008, this narrative changed. And then it's influenced how we spend and what we were doing with our money post, recession at that particular point in time, right? So that gives us two things that we need to keep in mind when it comes to how we manage our money. There are two things to keep in mind about a story-driven world when managing your money. The first one, it says, the more you want something to be true, the more likely you are to believe a story that overestimates the odds of it being true. Let me bring that up on the screen right quick, so it stays well with us. So you're following me as I go. And this is it. The more you want something to be true, the more likely you are to believe a story that overestimates the odds of it being true. That is very, very essential when it's something that we need to remember at the back of our mind whenever we are being told a story. Okay, it's usually said if something is too good to be true, it's most likely too good to be true. I know I shared a compounding video in the group chat, right? And some people, the first time I think the very first time we were on this book review, we went over a video like that showed the power. I think, was it a video or just a screen that shows in PDF format, right? The power of compounding, right? And then in cases like that, people might feel, oh yeah, that's too good to be true, right? And then you might have somebody pitch an investment opportunity to you based on that. And definitely, if you're somebody that is so, you believe in compounding, it's something you've been looking to use, or you've been using it in your own your personal finances, you're more likely to believe the person, right? And those are the things that will influence your decision. You want to go with them, or you don't want to be involved in it. All of those things, it's influence the way you take decision when it comes to your investing. And the term the author is using, Morgan Housel is using here, he says appealing fictions. So we tend to hold true a story that supports what we've been thinking, that supports the odds of what we're expecting to come out of our investment, right? He says that these appealing fictions happens when you're smart. And appealing fiction happens when you're smart, you want to find solutions, but face a combination of limited control and high stakes, right? So when this happens, we have to bring ourselves, remember what this book is saying, what we've learned from this, and bring ourselves into the middle and not be carried away by the narrative, right? They can make you believe just about anything, right? So he said he made there's a story here about, somebody that just would try anything just to make sure that their child was well. But if they have told somebody else that thing, that person would call them crazy, right? And those are the things that happens that, while in the heat of the decision, while in the heat of all of those things, the narrative the story you're being told, you are likely to accept it if what you are believing and hoping for is supported by that story. But if you have the opposite, then you're likely to resist it. And I think this lesson will help us as well in prospecting, right? If you're prospecting somebody that has been burnt by network marketing before, and the narrative they had is, network marketing is, it's MLM, it's fraud, it's only the people at the top that makes money, you're working for somebody else, a lot of, narratives that people have out there based on their experience or lack of it, right? So when you hear such story, you'll be able to know where this person stands, and then you'll be able to, develop your narrative, your story, to counter or to be able to find a way to make them see the other side, and not necessarily, for them, not necessarily have them stay with the current narrative they have, right? So with prospecting, it's going to go a long way, in helping us. And then, and most especially, you will be understanding, right? You will have an understanding of where they're coming from. You can put yourself in their shoes, because their last experience or the experience of somebody they know in network marketing had supported their bias, right? That it doesn't work for everybody. Only the top earners, only the people at the top are the top earners and things like that. So when they have such bias, you would then be able to, have a way to come at them with your own experience, with your own story that might likely bring them off the edge of saying no. Because you can tell them, this is where I am in my organization, and this is what is obtainable. This is what I made. This is what my team is making. Even the person that just joined, this is what they're making. So that kind of counter their narrative, and possibly you'll be able to have them watch you over time, right? Bring them into your community and continue to give them exposure. The person that just joined last week, how are they doing? The person that just joined last month, how are they doing? So you're able to share, and through that, you're winning them off of their bad experience that made them come up with a narrative that this would not work for me. And you're, kind of re-educating them, causing them to unlearn what they've learned so that they can relearn and then come on our side of the story. Okay, so that is something that we need to keep in mind. Another thing that we also need to keep in mind is everyone has an incomplete view of the world, but we form a complete narrative to fill in the gaps. I love the story that he said here about his daughter, right? A 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, all they know is, he said here, my daughter is about a year old as I write this. She's curious about everything and learns so fast. But sometimes I think about all the stuff she can't comprehend. She has no idea why her dad goes to work every morning. The concept of bills, budgets, careers, promotions, and saving for retirement are completely foreign to her. Imagine trying to explain the Federal Reserve credit derivatives or NAFTA to her. Impossible. But her world isn't dark. She does not wander around in confusion. Even at a year-old, oh, hold on. Let me see if I can share this so we can all follow. Then I'll stop sharing. Even at a year-old, she's written her own internal narrative of how everything works. Blankets keep me warm, mom snuggles keep me safe, and dates taste good. Everything she comes across fits into one of a few dozen mental models she's learned. When I go to work, she doesn't stop in confusion, wondering what salary or bills are. She has a crystal clear explanation of the situation. And what is our explanation? Dad isn't playing with me, and I wanted him to play with me, so I'm sad. Okay? Even though she knows little, she doesn't realize it because she tells herself a coherent story about what is going on based on the little she does know. All of us, no matter our age, we do the same thing with money. Just like my daughter, I don't know what I don't know. So I am just as susceptible to explaining the world through the limited set of mental models I have at my disposal. Like her, I look for the most understandable causes in everything I come across. And like her, I'm wrong about a lot of them because I know a lot less about how the world works than I think I do. So this is true of the most fact-based of subjects. Take history, right? So he was sharing that, if we can, ensure that we put ourselves in this model. I know what I know. What I don't know, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, right? And then we find ourselves, right, explaining away the world the way we see it. But if we can open up ourselves to more opinions, more information, we will realize that what we've concluded on is not 100% accurate. But what do we have to make decision, right? When you're making investment decision, you rely on what you know. Whereas what you know is not the totality of what there is. And that is why it's often encouraged and advised, do your due diligence. Do your due diligence on everything and, everything that whatever opportunity comes your way, right? You're making your money from network marketing business. That money you need to send that money on errands to go make more money. So when you begin to look into farming, for example, right? You've heard, oh, farming is very good. So should I own my own farm or invest in a farming venture? Should I, own my own real estate portfolios, or should I invest in a real estate company or in an investment company that invests primarily in real estate, right? All of those things, you will need to do your due diligence to ensure that the people you're investing with, especially if you are going with a third party, you're not, directly involved in those activities. If you're going with a third party, you need to do your due diligence. Are these legit? Right? And even if they started legit, the fact that we are not all crazy, the founders will have ideas and they might go haywire, right? And just invest instead of doing what they said they do. They will take risk, and then at the end of the day, all the funds are gone. A lot of stories are out there. No, most of those people did not start out to swindle people. No. They started out well, but then they got carried away by, they made a little risk. It paid off. They're like, yes. They increased the intensity some more. It paid off, and then they now put all the all the funds in it, and then that is when trouble comes. So when you're doing all of this, even if you're going with a third party, you still need to edge those, and that's why diversification is important. Ensure at least you have 7 at least 7 different, industries that you're investing in. So if real estate goes down, you have gold. If you invest in gold, gold is there to help, edge that. If gold, whatever happens to gold, if it comes down, if it reduces in value for some time, you have other things that you can hedge your business, hedge your investment in. Farming, Airbnb, rental, flipping houses, all of those things. You can be able to ensure that you are not putting all your eggs in one basket. All right. So let's say when planning, we focus on what we want to do and can do, neglecting the plans and skills of others whose decisions might affect our outcomes. That's the summary of the point I just made, right? We don't know those people, those third parties that we might be investing our money in. They'll definitely, most of the time, start out with good intentions, but we don't know how skillful they are. We don't know what their risk appetite is. And at the end of the day, right, we might get bumped. So that is why we have to be very, very vigilant and ensure that we hedge our investment. But in explaining the past and in predicting the future, we focus on the casual role of skill and neglect the role of luck. That's one of the chapters we looked at. We focus on what we know and neglect what we do not know, which makes us overly confident in our beliefs. And this is not for us. This is not for us to make us so pessimistic that we now just froze when it comes to investment. The most important thing is diversification. Diversifying your investment, okay? Knowing that if this source of income, this stream of income stops today, I have 6 others that can still make me money. All right. So that is what we are, if anything, we might be able to take away from this. All right. Any comment, any question, any contribution that we would like to add before we go to chapter 19, which is all together now, the summary of everything we have learned, and chapter 20 is just a sneak peek into Morgan Housel, how he managed the psychology of his own money, how he manages his investment. All right, so this chapter 19, putting it all together, we've learned a few things. We've learned a few things, and I'll just go, okay, let me share that so we can all see as I go over them. I don't know if any of us can share one takeaway that we've taken from this book. I shared mine at the beginning, and that is the fact that we're not all crazy, okay? That is one of the chapters that we looked at, that we were reviewing, right? That definitely, right, not everyone is crazy. We, as in no one is crazy. We make investment decisions based on our goals and characteristics, our background, our experiences. And if you ask us at the time that we're making that decision, what we would tell you is we are very optimistic about the decision we have made, right? And at the end of the day, whatever the outcome then comes, then it will seem as if the end justifies the means, right? Whereas, we all need to understand, no matter what the outcome of our investment is, we allow ourselves to give more grace to those that act to learn lessons out of their investment, and for us as well, to forgive ourselves, because a lot of people out of, because they've made investments in the past and they've lost, they didn't want to venture out anymore. Okay, so it helps us to want to say, okay, I made that decision based on this and that. I just need to be more careful and be more thorough in my, investigation, in my studies at the end of the day. And I shared at the beginning as well that has helped me in getting more involved in my husband's decision when it comes to investing. Because before now, I would tell him it's too risky and I would just shut down. I won't look into it in details. I won't see how we can edge it, how we can, put in measures to minimize losses if any should occur, right? So that at the end of the day made it like, I just need to hear, trust me. So when I hear that, I'll say, okay, I trust you. This is on you, right? And at the end of the day, of course, we all suffer for it, right? Because some of those things brought about lessons. But now that we've now coming from the extreme, is very, very his risk appetite is super, super duper high. And then for me, I'm very conservative. So I'm now closer. I'm not in the middle yet, like I said. I'm now drawn closer, right? And then he too is coming closer. So the gap between us is getting slimmer and slimmer. But now I don't shut down again when it comes with his, in quote, crazy ideas of investment. I try to listen. I try to research with him. I try to, offer my suggestions. Before, if I want to offer suggestions, he will shut down too, because he knew where I was going. I'm trying to discourage him, right? But now, after I've done my research, I will say, this is what I found, this is what I found. So he became more open. So that is one big lesson that I found from this. No one is crazy. And it's interesting. That was chapter 1. That was chapter 1 of the book. So what are the lessons you've learned, from this? And it says, go out of your way to find humility when things are going right, and forgiveness and compassion when they go wrong. Very, very careful, very, very important. So be humble when your investment is making money. Be humble when you take a risk and it paid off. Don't go all out and say, yes, I've done it in the past, I can do it again, and then just go all out without caution. No, be humble when things are going right, and then forgive and have compassion when they go wrong. Forgive and have compassion for others when things go wrong, when they are wrong in their expected returns on this investment, and forgive yourself as well when you invested, when you make an investment, put a decision, and you had to take a lesson. Forgive yourself and have compassion on yourself, because it's never as good or as bad as it looks. The world is big and complex. Luck and risk are both real and hard to identify. Do so when judging both yourself and others. Respect the power of luck and risk, and you'll have a better chance of focusing on things you can actually control. You'll also have a better chance of finding the right role models as well, right? Less ego, more wealth. Saving money is the gap between your ego and your income. So very, very high emphasis on savings. Manage your money in a way that helps you to sleep at night. Now, this is another lesson, and I love the way he summarizes it here. Manage your money in a way that helps you sleep at night. I came to that conclusion one time that we made some investment, and I couldn't sleep. At the thought of losing that money, I was just rolling. I woke up the next morning. I told my husband, I'm like, this has never happened to me before. Why? Why am I this apprehensive? What is going on? So we had to now ensure that, that decision, when making that decision, we ensure that we get to a point that, okay, this one I can sleep at night with this one, right? One of the decisions I've made, in trading is because I'm a day trader, right? So I decided at that particular point that I will not leave my trade open overnight. Put in trades, scalp whatever you want to scalp during the day, and that's it. No overnight trading. That means while I'm sleeping, there is nothing happening on trading for me that will make me feel, okay, I need to wake up and quickly check how is it going, right? So that is the way we must manage our money as well. Like, you have to, when you invest, can you sleep at night? Should you take a lesson on that investment, right? So that's different from saying you should aim to earn the highest return or save a specific percentage of your income. Some people won't sleep well unless they are earning the highest returns. Others will only get a good rest if they are conservatively invested. So to each their own. So you have to know your risk appetite. You have to know, does this help me sleep well at night? Is the best universal guidepost for all financial decisions. So when you're making your decision, after putting that money in, do you have peace? Okay. If you want to do better as an investor, the single most powerful thing you can do is increase your time horizon. Time is the most powerful force in investing. It makes little things grow big and big mistakes fade away. It can't neutralize luck and risks, but it pushes results closer towards what people deserve. Become okay with a lot of things going wrong, okay? Right? The former president, Trump, he's filed bankruptcy multiple times on his businesses, right? That is the highest level of financial failure here in the US, right? That you file bankruptcy. And look at him. He became president and is running for second term, now, right? So things will go wrong. In business, whatever, there will be, times that things might not go the way you expected them. But no matter what you're doing with your money, you should be comfortable with a lot of stuffs not working. That's just how the world is. So you should always measure how you've done by looking at your full portfolio. And that's why diversification is very, very important. All right. And that's why, such a person could still be standing today, because they separated their personal finance from their business, and then they had several other, means of income. So if they could file bankruptcy on this one, it didn't affect the other, and now they're still, in money. They're still able to retire and still have wealth for generations, right? So definitely we must have that at the back of our mind. Diversify and hedge your risk. It is fine to have a large chunk of poor investment and a few outstanding ones. So don't judge your success by just individual business, okay? And that's the essence. That's the real, that's why it's very important to diversify. Use money to get control over your time. That is how buying time, right? Use your money to buy time, because not having control of your time is such a powerful and universal drag on happiness. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want to, pays the highest dividend that exists in finance. Be nicer and less flashy, right? You think that, you can impress others with your possession, but no. People are not impressed with your possession as much as you are. You might think they want a fancy car, a nice watch, but what you probably want is respect and admiration. And you are more likely to gain those things through kindness and humility than horsepower and chrome. And that's why, you find a lot of people, once God has blessed them, and once they begin to make money, you see them giving back, right? So all of that should be part of, our investment as well. Invest in goodwill, invest in, giving back to the community, giving back to others. You might have, a set of women, a set of people that you have a similar story with, that you can, give back to them, get them from where you used to be together, right? And God has helped you. You've climbed higher, to a certain level. Then go back, stretch back down, and help them up using the money that you've been blessed with. That is investing, right, in goodwill. So that definitely will give you respect and admiration more than possession or being flashy can give. So be nicer. Save, just save. We don't need specific reason to save. It's great to save for a car, a down payment for a house, a medical emergency, but saving for things that are important to predict or define is one of the best reasons, that are impossible rather. Saving for things that are impossible to predict or define is one of the best reasons to save, right? There are surprises, right? That, life happens, right? But savings, there are many ways you can do your savings as well, right? Instead of putting your money in the bank just to sit there, you can devise a means by which you invest in particular things that the liquidity is, the turnaround time for you to get your cash out is very, very minimal. Within a day, you can sell them off, or you can liquidate and get your cash out, right? Instead of having the money sit in the bank and accruing no, tangible interest, right? So there are lots of opportunities like that. Define the cost of success and be ready to pay it, because nothing worthwhile is free, right? So I remember that most financial costs don't have visible price tags, right? So we have to have that at the back of our mind, but you have to view them as fees. They are often when uncertainty, doubt, and regret are common costs in the finance world, but they shouldn't be seen as fees. But they shouldn't be seen as penalties, right? But they should be seen as fees. A price worth paying to get something nice in exchange, rather than fines, a penalty you should avoid. And then allow yourself room for error, a gap between what could happen in the future and what you need to happen in the future in order to do well is what gives you endurance. And endurance is what makes magic compound, right? So all of that helps, when you're able to narrow, your room for error, you give room for error, you survive the downturns. And the longer you survive the downturns, the more the compounding magic work for you. You should like risk because it pays off over time. So instead of being risk averse, I take risk. I take more risk now, right? But you should be paranoid of ruinous risk, because it prevents you from taking future risks that will pay off over time. So you have to know when to cut your losses and run, so that you can use the remaining money to continue, your compounding game. So define the game you're playing and make sure your actions are not being influenced by others playing a different game. We talked about that last week. And then respect the mess. Smart, informed, and reasonable people can disagree in finance, because people have vastly different goals and desires. There is no single right answer, just the answer that works for you. Now let's look at what has been working, or what works for him. Confessions. The psychology of my own money. That is according to Morgan Housel. I think I noted a few things here. How my family thinks about savings, right? Charlie Munger once said, I did not intend to get rich. I just wanted to get independent. We can leave aside rich, but independence has always been my personal financial goal. Chasing the highest returns or leveraging my assets to live the most luxurious life has little interest to me. So here, according to Morgan Housel, mostly he just wants to wake up every day knowing his family can do whatever they want to do at their own terms, on their own terms. Being able to wake up one morning and change what you're doing on your own terms whenever you're ready seems like the grandmother of all financial goals. And I tell you, independence doesn't mean you stop working. It means you only do the work you like with people you like at the times you want for as long as you want, right? Being able to go into that workplace and when they get they get too much, you feel, okay, this is it. I can't take it this anymore. And you walk out the door. You tender your resignation and you could walk out the door. As against having to think twice that if I walk out that door and I don't have another job lined up, I will not be able to pay my bills next month. Then that is lack of independence, right? So you don't have independence in that regard. So independence is being able to do what you want with the people you like for as long as you want, all right? And then despite more than a decade of rising incomes, now this is talking about us, himself and his wife, how they met, how they've been, saving their money together and doing things together. It's interesting. It says, if there's a part of our household financial plan I'm proud of, is that we got the goalposts of lifestyle desires to stop moving at a young age. They are still living at the level, they were still living at the level they have in the lifestyle they established in their 20s. So when their income increases, they did not increase their bills. They didn't have to look for bigger house. When their income increases, they didn't get a new car. When their income increases, they didn't now go on flashy vacations and things like that. So they are able to manage their lifestyle and maintain it for a long period of time. A secondary benefit of maintaining a lifestyle below what you can afford is avoiding the psychological treadmill of keeping up with the Joneses, right? The day, at the onset of social media, right? You will see people getting on jets and taking pictures, going in fancy houses, and taking pictures. And, you will feel like, oh, wow, this person has a jet or this person have access to a jet. And then you see fancy houses. At the end of the day, you begin to see the backstory of those people. These are people that rented 30 minutes to do what they showed on social media as if that is who they are, right? These are people that the house they were is the house maybe they're showing to go sell, right? And they go there, take pictures as if it's their home. Now, if you have not decided, if you have not set your lifestyle that you want to maintain a lifestyle below what you can afford, you will be on the treadmill of, no, I want to be able to do this as well. I want to be able to get that type of house as well. I want to be able to travel this way as well. It will just continue. And at the end of the day, you will be in a rat race. And Nassim Taleb is quoted here. He says, true success is exiting some rat race to modulate one's activity for peace of mind. That is the goal, peace of mind at the end of the day. Right? And he says they do this because cash is the oxygen of independence. You use money to buy your independence, your time. So at a point, you have to stop working for money and let money work for you. And when you get to the point that money is working for you, that is when your independence, you begin to get your independence, right? So very, very, very important, you know. How his family thinks about investing. He says, if I had to summarize my views on investing, it is this. Every investor should pick a strategy that has the highest odds of successfully meeting their goals. And I think for most investors, dollar cost averaging into a low-cost index fund will provide the highest odds of long-term success, right? So that is his take on investing. And that concludes the book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Do we have anyone that wants to share one takeaway that they're taking from this as we go? What is, yes, now the book is over. Yes, we are done. We are done. That's the end of the book. I mean, it's changed my life when it comes to risk, you know, investments in risk. Oh my God. I could finally come to, you know, just not see another person as, you know, when you see somebody as, what do they call this? This Yoruba one that is coming to mind. That somebody that just wants to be dumping money in, because I've used that term before. You just want to be dumping money in bottomless basket. Why? You know? So it's a lot of peace for me now. My takeaway is not increasing my expenses as my, yes, very, very essential, right? Not changing the restaurant you dine in now because you you got a bonus at work, right? Of course, there will be time you treat yourself. Of course, you treat yourself. You've done a good job. Yes, you earned that bonus. Yeah, treat yourself. Yes, but now, not necessarily now, have to change, you know, your lifestyle altogether because of that extra income. Instead, let that impact, you know, feed into your compounding. You know, there's opportunity to put more money into your investment that will continue to do the compounding for you. Dollar cost averaging, if you're into stocks, buy more. Dollar cost averaging of the ones you have in your portfolio, you know, and buy more at lower cost. When they drop a percentage, you buy more. When they drop some percentage more, you buy more, right? You continue to do that. Let that be, feed into the compounding effect instead of another way, you know, one can edge all of this is also life insurance. You know, getting life insurance that gives you, that you can what's the term now? Life insurance that you can build equity faster on. That at the end of the day, such life insurance, there is a particular amount that you'll be able to put into such life insurance in a year, right? So when you contribute that much money, or you pay it up, instead of paying for 40 years, you pay all the, you know, the lifetime premium on that policy, you pay it off. Now, you now have access to all the funds in that life insurance, not unlike the regular mindset or that you can only access the funds in life insurance when you are dead. Your beneficiaries will do that. But there's this type of life insurance that once you've built equity in it, you can borrow against it. So it's like you have money that you can bring out, use for investment, and then bring it back in, so that at the end of your life, your beneficiaries will still have that money to them, and all of the, all the accrued equity that is had as well. Right. Very, very, yes, I'll give you more information on that. It's very, very good. Very good. And those are ways, and there are ways you can set it up that it can even, you borrow your own money while you are alive, right? You pay back, and some even exist that even if you don't pay back, you still have the face value to that they will still pay your beneficiaries when you're gone. So you eat your cake and have it, in a way, with those type of life insurance. Very, 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 very important. So if you earn more bonus, instead of, after you treat yourself with, ice cream or a nice handbag, right, that will last, right? There are some, you invest in some handbags that will last you for years, right? That will be some form of investment itself, right? So you get that bag for yourself just to treat yourself, fine. But then don't now say that's the place I'm going to be shopping all the time, right? Take that bonus funds, put it in the life insurance, and then it will accrue, for you to borrow against at a later time, to accrue faster. Yes, I'll send that information to you if you can attend, especially at least those of us here in the US. All right, that is it for me. Let me see that chat here. Yes, I will do that. I'll send it to you. My takeaway. Okay, yes, we have read that. All right, that is it for me. Have a wonderful and lovely evening, everyone. And if you have suggestions on, we're going for skills next, especially prospecting, social selling, prospecting. I would love, you can share it with me. I'm looking into Ray Igden or Eric Worre to see any of their books that we can review next. And if you have any ideas, let me know. If I come up with any, I'll share it in the group as well. Have a lovely evening. God bless you all.